My beloved child, there are things in your life that have formed like invisible walls, silent, unthreatening, yet quietly keeping you confined in a narrow room of fear and doubt. You have lived there so long that you've mistaken it for freedom. But today I came not to redecorate that dim room, but to break it open. For light does not negotiate with darkness, it drives it out. You have heard it said, the truth will set you free, but my child, only when you believe that truth, not merely knowing it, will freedom truly flow. Truth is not a concept, it is a living one. I am the truth, and wherever I am, chains must fall. From the dawn of creation, when I spoke, let there be light, darkness withdrew. That same word still echoes through the universe and within your soul. There are corners of your heart where my light has not yet reached, buried memories, words that wounded you in childhood, images that made you doubt your worth. But today my light is not shining upon you from afar, it is rising within you. You no longer need to seek me in distant places, for I am here in your breath, in your heartbeat, in the stillness between your thoughts. Every time you choose to believe my word over the whisper of fear, that light grows and darkness shrinks back a little more. Do you know, my child, that lies are not merely distortions of words, but distortions of perception? When the enemy tells you, you're not enough, it's not simply to sadden you, it's to rob you of the power I placed in you. When you believe you are unworthy, you bind your own hands from receiving what I've already given. When you think I am distant, you stop praying. When you think I am angry, you hide. When you think your past defines you, you stop walking toward your future. Every lie is a chain, but each fragment of truth you receive breaks another link, not by your effort, but by my power in you. Remember this: the enemy does not fear your singing, your good works, or even your gatherings. He fears when you believe what I have spoken, for when you do, his webs dissolve like mist before morning light. He will, as he did with Eve, whisper, "Did God really say?" He won't urge you to deny me, only to doubt me. A single seed of doubt is enough to open the door to darkness. But when you answer with my word, you close that door again. When Jesus stood in the wilderness, he did not argue with the tempter through emotion. He simply said, "It is written," and that "it is written" made the enemy flee. You see, power does not come from how loudly you shout, but from the truth upon which you stand. You've often wondered why there are seasons when you feel lost in fog, uncertain of direction, unsure what to believe, sensing silence in prayer. But silence is not absence. Just as the sun still shines behind clouds, I am still present, even when your feelings cannot sense me. Yet when lies creep in, the clouds grow thicker until you forget the light is still there. I am not angry when you are weak. I grieve only when you stop believing what I've said. For disbelief is agreement with the deceiver, and that agreement binds your soul. You must learn to guard the field of your mind as a farmer guards his harvest. Every thought is a seed, and if you don't choose what is sown, the enemy will choose for you. Be vigilant, for even the smallest lies can grow into towering trees. Let my word be the plow that tills your heart, uprooting the weeds of doubt. When you read my word, do not treat it as an ancient text. Hear it as if I am speaking to you now, because I am. I speak through Abraham's faith when he trusted me without proof. I speak through Joseph's patience when he believed in the dark. I speak through David's cry, "O my soul, put your hope in the Lord." These stories are not history. They are mirrors of your own journey. Look back, my child, and see the times I've already set you free. There were chains you thought unbreakable, but they shattered without your knowing how. There were fears you thought you'd never overcome, but you've long walked beyond them. All this is proof that my truth is stronger than every lie, and I am still doing the same day after day. Freedom does not arrive in one dazzling moment and vanish. It unfolds through daily choices. Every time you forgive instead of resent, you step deeper into freedom. Every time you believe my promise instead of your feelings, another chain breaks. Every time you choose love over fear, another door opens to light. I know there will be days you grow weary and moments you wish to stop. But my child, do not retreat. Beyond the thick fog light is waiting to break through. Trust that when you cannot see me, I still see you. When you cannot speak, I hear the trembling rhythm of your heart. When you fall, I do not turn away. I stoop down, lift you up, and whisper, "You are still mine." No lie can revoke that truth. What I have spoken cannot be withdrawn. What I have promised cannot be broken. You are marked with the seal of grace, and that light will never go out. I know your mind is a battlefield where many voices shout, one of truth, one of deception. Sometimes they sound so alike that you grow confused. But remember this: my truth always brings peace, while the enemy's words always sow fear. When you hear a voice that burdens clouds or troubles your spirit, know this: it is not from me. My voice is gentle yet full of authority. It never confuses. It draws you closer. I do not use shame to correct you. I use light to lead you out of darkness. My beloved child, you once tried to fix yourself believing that if you just tried harder, prayed longer, served more faithfully, you would finally become worthy of me. But my child, I never asked that of you. I did not call you to be good enough. I called you to come home. Healing does not come by hiding your wounds, but by bringing them into the light. The light does not come to judge the wound, it comes to heal it. Remember this: what you hide in darkness continues to control you there. The enemy knows this, and so it tries to keep you silent, making you believe that if you exposed your pain, I would turn away. But the truth is the opposite. When you dare to speak honestly, that is when I enter most deeply. I am not afraid of your cracks. Through those very cracks, my light breaks in and shines out. Do you know why I love truth? Because only in truth can love take root. Lies are the soil of fear, where love cannot grow. But when you allow me to shine upon what you have hidden, you make way for true love to enter, and that love is stronger than any lie that has ever existed. My love rewrites your mind, not erasing painful memories, but transforming their meaning. What the enemy used to break you, I will use to raise you. What once brought you shame will become your testimony of grace. As Joseph said, you meant it for harm, but God meant it for good. Genesis 5:20. So it shall be with you, my child. The very things that once made you fall will become the steps that lift you higher when you allow me to rewrite your story. You still believe your past defines you, that your failures stamped your name with defeat. But my child, I have removed every label that man has placed upon you. I do not look at you through the lens of sin. I see you through the blood of my Son. When I look at you, I do not see a failure. I see a redeemed child called by name, sealed in the covenant of life. Sin may have written the first lines, but grace writes the final chapter. You no longer live as one striving to please me, you live as one already loved. When you truly believe you are loved, you stop trying to prove your worth and begin living from it. And in that moment, every lie loses its power. I know there are nights when you lie awake replaying cruel words, doubtful glances, and failed attempts to change. You whisper, "Maybe I'll never be better," but I have come to say no. You are not defined by failure, but by resurrection. Do you remember Peter? He denied Jesus 3 times, yet became the one entrusted to shepherd my flock. Sin did not end his story. It only magnified the strength of forgiveness. Each time you fall, I do not measure you by the fall, but by whether you allow me to lift you up. Let me touch the places you fear to be touched, for only when you let me do so will you know that my love is not an idea, it is a living power that resurrects what once was dead. Think of Moses, a man who once killed, who ran from his calling. Yet when I met him in the burning bush, I did not speak of his past. I simply said, "Go." You see, I do not define you by your mistakes, but by your calling. I do not see the one who failed. I see the one I am sending. When I call you the light of the world, I already know every shadow within you. and that is why your light shines brighter, for it has conquered darkness. Every wound you give to me becomes a window through which my glory shines. Do not despise the process, my child. The renewal of the mind does not happen overnight, but little by little, like dawn creeping through mountain cracks. Some days you will feel progress. Other days you'll feel as though you're back at the start. But do not trust feelings. Even when unseen, the seed still grows. In the same way, truth is taking root within you quietly, steadily. Do not look for proof in your emotions. Look for it in my word. Every time you read the scriptures, do not treat them as moral lessons, but as mirrors of your soul. When you read, "You are forgiven," that is not a message to humanity. It is my voice speaking to you. When you read, "I will never leave you," that is not an old saying, it is my eternal promise for today. Let my word be the mirror you face each morning until you no longer see yourself through your wounds, but through redemption. My beloved child, you once believed that freedom was a destination, but in truth it is a way of life. Freedom in me is not the absence of boundaries, it is being bound to truth. The more deeply you are anchored in my word, the freer you become from illusion. I did not promise that trials would vanish, but I did promise that in the midst of them you would stand firm. I did not promise you would never hear the voice of lies again, but I promised you would recognize them and no longer be ruled by them. The goal is not to silence the noise of the world, but to hear me more clearly. When my truth becomes the rhythm of your heart, the noise around you loses its grip. You will walk through storms in peace, because you know who commands the wind. And remember this, my child, every time you choose truth over convenience, heaven rejoices, for in that moment you have not only won a thought, you have shattered a stronghold of the enemy. Every time you say, "No, I choose to trust God," a sound of victory echoes through the heavens. You think it is only a small prayer, but in the unseen realm it is thunder. You are learning to wage war with faith, not with fists, but with declarations. For the enemy fears only this, a child of God who knows who they are and whose power stands behind them, my beloved. When the light in you begins to grow, darkness will not retreat quietly. It will thrash and whisper, trying to make you doubt the ground you stand on. But do not fear the enemy, only shouts when he is losing ground. His noise is not proof of your failure, but evidence of your freedom drawing near. Every step you take in truth reduces the territory of lies. You may feel the resistance, you may see storms rising, but even there the roots of truth are growing deeper. Just as wind strengthens the roots of trees, the trials around you are anchoring your soul in me. You will notice that when my light shines brighter within you, everything false around you begins to fall away. Relationships, once unshakable, may fade. Desires that once captivated you will lose their pull. Dreams not born of me will dissolve like mist. Do not mourn what leaves, my child. I am pruning you for true freedom. Freedom is not having everything, it is being bound by nothing except me. I may strip away what you cling to, not to punish, but to teach you where your true worth lies. And when you finally release your grasp, you will find yourself lighter, not because you have lost, but because you are free. Look at Jesus. He owned no house, sought no fame, and was not adored by crowds. Yet no one who ever lived was freer. He was free among those who hated him, free, in the face of accusation, free, even upon the cross, because he knew exactly who he was, the Son of God, loved, sent, and secure. No one could take that from him. My child, I want you to walk in that same freedom. When you know who you are in me, the praise or rejection of people will lose its power. When your worth no longer depends on your work, you will not fear loss. When you know that I have chosen you, you will stop chasing recognition. That is true freedom, to live in the world but no longer be defined by it. There will be people who do not understand. They will say you've changed, that you've grown distant. But they cannot see that you are simply learning to listen to another voice, the voice of truth, Do not explain yourself. Light does not justify itself, it simply shines. When you walk in the light, your life becomes the message. People will see your peace in the storm, your forgiveness in pain, your kindness when betrayed, and they will know that a power greater than you is at work within you. That is when you become a messenger of truth, not by words, but by presence. As it is written, "Let your light shine before others, that they may see your good works and glorify your Father in heaven." Matthew 5:1-6. Yet to keep shining, you must keep your oil full. Light does not fade because of darkness. It fades because it runs out of oil. Remember the 10 virgins, 5 wise, 5 foolish. The oil is intimacy with me. You cannot keep your flame if you stray from its source. Do not let busyness, burdens, or distractions pull you away from me. Each day still your heart before me like a stream resting beneath the mountain. In stillness you will hear my whisper. In silence you will feel my hand. When you make room for me, I will renew your mind like spring rain softening dry ground. But if you try to keep going in your own strength, your flame will dim, and the noise of the world will drown you in exhaustion. Learn, too, to discern true light from false light. There are things that seem to belong to me, but are only imitations dressed in spiritual language. The enemy is cunning. He knows you love the holy, so he comes disguised in its form. He may tell you that success equals blessing or that human applause is proof of my favor, but remember, not everything that glitters is of heaven. False light dazzles, true light reveals. False light inflates the self, true light humbles it so that I may be glorified. Do not chase the light that makes you seen, choose the light that makes me seen. I know there will be days when your light feels dim, days when prayer feels hollow, scripture feels dry, and your steps feel directionless. That is not failure. It is my invitation to walk by faith, not by feeling. Trust that the flame within you has not gone out, it is being refined. Just as gold must endure fire to be purified, your faith must endure dryness to mature. Do not try to burn brighter by effort, for my light in you is not maintained by striving, but by trust. Each time you whisper, "Lord, I am still here," even when I can't feel you, the flame burns stronger than ever because it is fueled by faithfulness, not emotion. As you walk in my light, your vision will change. You will see trials not as curses, but as canvases for my glory. You will see the enemy not as a threat, but as the backdrop that makes my power shine brighter. You will see failure not as the end, but as a doorway into deeper grace. When you truly live in truth, everything that once frightened you will become a testimony of my faithfulness. For you will know that nothing escapes my hand, and all that I allow serves my good purpose. As Paul wrote, all things work together for good for those who love God. Romans 8:2-8. That is the lamp lighting every path you will take. My beloved child, remember, you were not called merely to know the truth, but to live in it. When you live in truth, you become my vessel, an instrument through which others find freedom. Your words will break chains. Your presence will bring peace where conflict once raged and hope where hearts lie broken. Not because you hold power, but because I live within you. The light you carry is not your own, yet the world needs it. Let it shine. Let your life become a living letter not written with ink, but by my Spirit, so that whoever looks at you may read the language of my love. Freedom is not your final reward. It is your inheritance. You do not have to chase it. You only need to live in what I have already given. Go now, and remember, darkness can exist only where light is absent. Bring your light into the places you once feared. Speak truth in the spaces where silence has reigned. Love where others choose to despise. Forgive where others demand vengeance. And as you do, you will witness that the power of truth is stronger than any weapon of this world. The enemy has no grip on a soul that walks in freedom, because nothing can imprison one who knows they belong to me. You shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. John 8:3-2. That is not just a verse, it is the heartbeat of the universe, the rhythm of my love pulsing through your being. Each day let those words echo in your spirit like a sacred song. Let them become your breath, your step, your guiding flame. For when you live in truth, you live in me, and where I dwell, no chain can remain unbroken. My beloved child, now I must teach you what comes next, the key to the maturity of your soul to discern my voice among the countless echoes of the world. For when you once walked in darkness, other voices easily led you astray. But now I desire you to understand that true freedom is not only the breaking of chains, but the learning to walk under the guidance of my Spirit. You may be free, yet if you do not learn to hear me, you will still stumble into the snares of noise. The world is filled with confident tones, sweet voices that sound wise but are empty within messages that promise peace while binding the soul. So my child, learn the sacred art of silence, the place where I speak and your spirit learns to listen. I do not speak to you through thunder or storm. I speak in the gentle whisper of your heart, but to hear it you must be quiet. When your mind is crowded with fear, worry, and calculation, my voice becomes like a flute, playing through a tempest, still present, but drowned out. I know you wish I would speak more loudly, but if I always shouted over the noise, you would never learn discernment. That is why I sometimes remain silent, not to distance myself, but to teach you to tell the difference between the stirrings of the flesh and the nudges of the spirit. Still your heart until it mirrors still water, for only when the surface is calm will you see heaven reflected in it. There will be seasons when so many voices surround you that you no longer know which one is real. Some will say, "This is God's will," while others claim the opposite. Culture, media, and even religion will try to sell you new truths each day. But my child, truth does not evolve with trends. I do not need to be updated. My voice carries the same rhythm from the beginning of time, the rhythm of life, love, and divine order. My voice never contradicts my word. So when you are unsure, return to what has been written. I never speak contrary to myself. True wisdom is not found in the volume of a message, but in its alignment with my nature, merciful, just humble, and full of grace. Do you know why Samuel mistook my voice for Eli's? Because it was his first time hearing me, and my tone was so gentle that it resembled the voice of the teacher he trusted. I do not shout. I speak in ways that require your spirit to lean in. I want you not only to hear, but to understand. Once you become familiar with my voice, you will notice that it always carries peace even when it calls for change. It may move you to tears, but never to despair. It may touch a wound, but only to heal it. So ask your heart, does this voice draw me closer to God or push me away? The answer will always reveal the source. The greatest danger is not when you mistake the enemy's voice for mine, but when you mistake your own voice for mine. That is why I must teach you humility to test everything. Do not assume that every strong feeling comes from the Spirit. There are times when I stay silent, so you may examine your motives. Look at the root of each impulse. Does it grow from love or fear, from trust or the need for control, from the desire to exalt me or yourself? My voice always leads you to rest in grace, while the voice of the flesh drives you into haste and pressure. When you learn this difference, your spirit is being renewed, and you begin to walk in true spiritual maturity. Not everyone will understand this process. Some will call you too cautious, too slow, but do not be dragged by their pace. When I build a soul, I am never in a hurry. I do not run by human schedules. I teach you to listen before acting, because acting without listening is the root of every mistake. Remember Abraham, he was promised a son, yet in impatience, he listened to his own voice and birthed Ishmael. From that one misstep came generations of conflict. Do you see? A single decision born from the wrong voice can alter history. So I tell you, my child, be slow to act, but quick to listen. I am never offended when you ask, Lord, is this truly you? On the contrary, I am pleased when you seek my will rather than rush to act in my name. There will be those who say I cannot hear God. But I tell you, it is not because I am silent, it is because they do not recognize me. I speak through my word, through nature, through dreams, through the peace that settles in your heart, through the counsel of the righteous, even through unexpected moments. I speak in failure as well as in silence. I have many ways, but all I need is one open heart and one quiet mind. Consider Elijah. He waited for me in the wind, in the earthquake, and in the fire, but I was not in those. Only when he heard the gentle whisper did he cover his face and know I was near. My child, the world will always amplify its noise, but my voice will remain small, not because I am weak, but because I desire to be heard only by those who truly seek me. For my voice is not meant merely to inform, it is meant to transform, my beloved child. When you learn to hear me, you will discover that I do not always say what you want to hear. There will be times I ask you to release what you wish to keep, to be silent when you long to defend yourself, to wait when every part of you wants to act. But remember, I see further than you see. My voice does not simply lead you toward a good outcome. It forms within you a right heart. I care less about what you achieve than about who you become in the journey. When you obey my voice, even without understanding, you are building your faith upon rock, and no storm, no enemy can shake what is built on rock. A renewed spirit is not one that never errs, but one that returns to listen every time it strays. You will not always discern perfectly, but do not be afraid, I know how to correct you. My correction is not a whip, it is a gentle touch guiding you back. When you drift, my spirit will whisper, this is the way. And when you turn back, I do not scold, I rejoice more than one who finds a lost sheep. Keep your heart soft, for a hardened heart is soil where my voice cannot sink in. Let humility become the ears of your spirit, and obedience the echo of your response. Then you will not merely hear me, you will move in my rhythm, walking neither ahead nor behind, but perfectly in step with the pace of heaven. As your spiritual senses awaken, you will realize that the world's noise is not only around you, it is also within. Some days the loudest voice will be your own fear, desire, self-defense, unhealed pain, all blending into a restless storm. You will cry, Lord, how can I hear you in all this? My answer is not for you to strain harder, but to listen with a quieter heart. My spirit does not speak through noise. He speaks through peace, a peace untouched by circumstance. When you dwell in that peace, you will begin to recognize my voice more clearly than ever before. Peace is not the reward after the storm, it is the ground you stand on during it. My spirit does not promise to silence the wind, but to teach you to hear me through it. When the disciples trembled in the boat, Jesus did not wait for calm before speaking. He spoke into the storm, saying, do not be afraid, it is I. Remember that, my child, those words still echo for you today. Amid conflicting opinions, endless information, and anxious whispers, my voice still declares, do not fear, it is I. If you fix your eyes on the storm, you will sink, but if you fix them on me, you will stand. Many times you will not need detailed directions. You will only need the assurance of my presence. Do you know why many seek my guidance but never find it? Because they seek direction, not relationships. They want a map but not the guide. Yet I do not give maps, I give myself. If you had a map, you would depend on it, not on me. But if you have me, you will never lose your way. The guidance of my spirit is not a list of instructions, it is a living relationship. I may not show you the whole path, but I will always show you the next step. In that dependence, your faith matures. When I say go, it is not because you know the destination, but because you trust the one who walks beside you. Remember Abraham, he knew nothing of where he was going, only that I had said, go from your country. He had no map, only a promise, and that promise was enough to carry him through every desert. So it shall be with you. When I lead you into places without signs or certainty, it is never to lose you, but to teach you trust. I do not lead you by the easiest road, but by the deepest one where your faith becomes strong and your soul takes shape. Every step of obedience, no matter how small, echoes in eternity. For in my kingdom, faithfulness resounds longer than success. To hear my voice amid 1,000 others, you must learn discernment. My voice never contradicts my nature. It may redirect you, but it will never rob you of dignity. It may call you to lay something down, but never to lose your true self. It may humble you, but always to lift you higher. The voice of the flesh, by contrast, is hurried, anxious, full of logic, but lacking peace. It urges haste. Act now or you'll miss it. But my voice is never rushed. When I call you to move, peace will be present. A deep peace that tells you even if the outcome is uncertain, I am there. Let peace be your compass. If your peace fades, stop, for I never lead you through confusion. Ask yourself, when a voice speaks, does it stir fear or faith? Does it make you withdraw or open in love? Does it drive you to hide or give you courage to stand in grace? That is the simplest test. My spirit always draws you closer to love. The enemy always drives you away from it. When I speak, you feel invited, not forced. When I correct, you feel illuminated, not shamed. When I warn you, sense mercy behind every word, not condemnation. Let love be your filter. Any voice that does not flow from love, no matter how convincing it sounds, is not mine. My beloved child, my silence is not abandonment, it is refinement. When you no longer hear my voice, I am teaching you to trust what I have already spoken. Many lose their peace in the quiet seasons. Because they forget this, I have never changed. When I am silent, it does not mean my plan has paused. When I am silent, it does not mean I have withdrawn. I am silent so that you may learn that faith does not depend on sound, only on certainty. Like when you sit in a dark room, the light may be hidden, but you still know the room exists. That is how I teach you to know me, not merely by hearing, but by trusting. Sometimes I will let you hear me through others, through an offhand phrase, a song, a verse, or even a tear that falls at the right moment. Do not chase the spectacular. Stay sensitive to the simple. I am not confined to temples, I am present in the ordinary. When you wash the dishes, I can speak. When you walk beneath the evening sky, I can remind. When you pause amid a crowded street, I can whisper. Look around, I am here. Once you learn to recognize my presence in small moments, you will never fear losing me again. For I do not come and go, I am constant. The only question is whether you notice me. Do not be afraid when you confuse my voice. Learning to hear me is a journey, not a contest. You may make mistakes, but I use even those to sharpen your discernment. Each misstep becomes a lesson in wisdom. Each return tunes your ears a little more. I do not expect perfection in your hearing, only sincerity in your desire. For I speak most clearly to those who truly seek. Do not grow discouraged if you do not hear as others claim to. I have a different language with every soul. What matters is not how you hear, but how you respond. Whenever you say, Lord, I am here, my answer is always the same. I am here too, my child, my beloved. When you begin to live under the guidance of my Spirit, you will see that nothing in your life is random. No meeting is accidental, no delay, meaningless, no silence, a sign of abandonment. All are part of the language I use to speak with you. I speak not only in words, but in the rhythm of time, in the opening and closing of doors, in the subtle signs that only a sensitive spirit perceives. When an opportunity passes, do not call it loss. Sometimes it is my way of saying, not yet. When someone leaves your life, do not call it misfortune. Sometimes it is my protection from what your heart is not ready to bear. And when a door opens, do not rush to rejoice. Ask me first, for not every open door leads to light. I do not lead in straight lines, but in the winding paths of faith. When I take you through the desert, it is not to make you thirst, but because only there can you learn to recognize my voice most clearly. When I allow you to stay in uncomfortable places, it is not punishment. It is training in trust. The world teaches control. I teach surrender. The world tells you to follow your feelings. I teach you to stand on my promises. The world says, follow your heart, but I say, let your heart be renewed by my Spirit. For your heart does not know goodness on its own. It learns it only when it abides in me. When my Spirit dwells in you, he is more than a voice. He is breath. You will not always hear him, but you will always live in him. Just as a fish is unaware of the water it swims in, yet the water sustains it, so my Spirit surrounds your soul. When you pray, you inhale. When you obey, you exhale. If you only inhale without exhaling, you will suffocate. If you only exhale without inhaling, you will grow faint. So live in the rhythm of the Spirit. Inhale through prayer, exhale through obedience. Then everything you do will flow in harmony with heaven's rhythm. Do not think that hearing me happens only in solemn prayer hours. No, my child, I long to walk with you in your ordinary moments. When you are working, I might whisper, slow down. When you are weary, I might say rest. When you face someone hard to love, I might gently nudge, see them through my eyes. This is how I train you, not with thunderous commands, but through subtle movements of mercy. My Spirit does not seize your hand. He rests his hand upon yours and walks beside you. When you learn that rhythm, you will no longer try to hear me. You will live in my voice. But be cautious, for there will be times when your emotions will try to disguise themselves as my voice. They will whisper, I feel peace, so this must be God's will. Yet, my child, true peace does not come from convenience, but from presence. Some things feel pleasant, but lead to bondage. Others shake you with fear, yet open into freedom. Therefore, do not rely solely on feelings to discern my voice. Let my word be your measure. When I lead you, your emotions may fluctuate, but my truth remains unchanged. Learn this: faith shapes feelings. Feelings do not shape truth. Many say they long to hear me, yet they fear what I might say. They desire confirmation, not correction. They want direction, but not redirection. But I am not the God who only says what you like. I am the God who says what you need. When I say stop, it is not to restrain you, but to save you from the cliff. When I say wait, it is not to delay you, but to prepare you for something greater. When I say forgive, it is not to make you lose, but to free your heart. My voice will often go against your instincts precisely because it carries the power to transform them. Every day in this world you will have to choose whom to listen, to whom to trust, and whom to follow. Not every soft voice comes from the Spirit, and not every loud one comes from the enemy. Discernment is a gift I give to those who practice intimacy with me. The closer you draw, the clearer you recognize my tone. Think of a mother in a crowded marketplace. Though 100 voices shout, her child still knows her call. So too, the soul that lives close to me will know my voice no matter how loud the world becomes. That is not a miracle. It is the fruit of a relationship. My beloved child, believe me, the more you learn to hear my voice, the more you will truly understand yourself, for I am the mirror that reflects your real image. Every other voice distorts it. The voice of society demands that you prove your worth. The voice of the past fills you with fear. The voice of guilt drives you to hide. But my voice is different. It never pressures you to perform. It reminds you that you are chosen. It does not make you afraid. It gives you peace. It does not demand that you do more. It invites you to go deeper. When you begin to live within that voice, you will notice that every decision, every action, every response carries the fragrance of heaven, gentle, steady, and full of love. Do not worry when the path feels dim. Spiritual maturity is not about knowing everything but trusting when you know nothing at all. The more you walk in the light of my voice, the less you will depend on visible evidence. There will come a time when you will not need to hear me in every sentence, for your soul itself will have become my dwelling place. Then you will no longer just hear my voice, you will become part of it. Every act, every word, every gaze will echo my presence. My child, now that you have learned to hear, to recognize, and to discern my voice among the noise, it is time to learn something greater, the unity of hearing, believing, and obeying. For hearing without believing is mere information. Believing without action is sentiment. But when you hear, believe, and walk, my spirit moves freely within you. Spiritual maturity is not measured by how often you hear, but by how deeply you obey the one word you have received. When you hear my voice and follow, you are not just obeying, you are moving in rhythm with heaven itself. I know there are times you hear me clearly, and yet doubt creeps in like a soft fog. You ask, was that really you, Lord, or just my thoughts? Then you hesitate, waiting for another sign, another feeling, another confirmation. But I say to you, obedience does not require proof when you already know the one who speaks is faithful. Abraham did not wait to see the ram before climbing Moriah. He simply walked trusting that I would provide. In the same way, I do not ask you to be fearless before you move. I ask you to move even while afraid. Faith is not the absence of trembling. It is the choice to trust through the trembling. Each time you act on what I have said, you declare that I am more trustworthy than your emotions. Do not confuse spiritual excitement with spiritual faithfulness. Excitement is a spark. Faithfulness is the flame that remains when the spark fades. Excitement starts the journey. Faithfulness finishes it. My spirit works not only in bursts of fire, but on quiet days when no one sees you, when you still choose to obey without feeling. It is in those ordinary days that real faith is proven. For if you love me only when you feel me, it is not yet love. True love endures when emotion fades. It stays when silence comes. When you choose faithfulness, you proclaim to heaven and earth that your God is not emotion, but truth. I do not need you perfect. I need you steadfast. Look at Noah. He built an ark for years, without rain, without signs, only my word. He did not hear me daily. He remembered what I said once. That is faith, believing yesterday's promise when today feels silent. Look at David, anointed king, yet chased through wilderness. He did not see fulfillment, yet he trusted the one who promised. Look at Mary, chosen to carry the Savior, yet misunderstood, isolated, surrounded by silence. All shared one thing in common: they trusted a voice the world could not hear. So, my child, hold fast to what I have spoken, even when all evidence says otherwise. My word never returns void. There will be seasons when I say nothing new, not because I have stopped speaking, but because I want you to live the last word I gave. A farmer does not sow again before harvest, and I will not speak new instructions until you have walked out the old. Do not chase fresh revelations. Many seek new prophecies, forgetting that obedience to what already is the foundation of every revelation. Pause and ask, have I lived fully what God last spoke? If not, that is where to return. I never forget a promise, and I never skip a lesson. When you walk faithfully in the light you already have, I will give you more, because the path of the righteous shines brighter and brighter until full day. My voice does not always lead you to comfort, it leads you to transformation. At times I will ask you to release what you love, to let go of who you want to hold, or to walk a road few would choose. Yet this is not loss, it is refining. My spirit never leads you where my grace cannot sustain you. When I call you to do something hard, trust that beyond obedience lies blessing. Sometimes that blessing is not what you expect. It may come as a deep, unshakable peace the world cannot comprehend. True obedience is not measured by results, but by surrender, by how fully you trust the one who calls. And understand this, the deeper you walk, the subtler the enemy becomes. He will not openly contradict me. He will mimic me. He will whisper what you want to hear and make you believe it is my voice. That is why I teach you not to listen with your ears, but with a yielded heart. A humble heart will always feel the Spirit's gentle check when something is off. If you truly desire my will, I will not let you wander far. But if you decide first what you want and only seek my approval afterward, you will easily hear the echo of your own desires. The secret to hearing me is not skill, it is surrender. The one who says, "Whatever you tell me I will do," will never miss my voice, for I speak most clearly to those already willing to obey. When your spirit reaches that unity, you will find that my voice no longer comes in moments, it flows like a continuous river within you. You will hear me not only in prayer, but in work, in conversation, in rest, in breath itself. You will no longer separate sacred from ordinary, for all belongs to me. Then you will realize I was never silent, it was you who divided life into holy and common. But when I am in you and you are in me, everything becomes holy. Every act done in love becomes worship. Every faithful step becomes a song of praise. My beloved child, a day will come when you no longer need to try to hear me, because your very life will have become my voice to the world. When you forgive, people will hear me through you. When you love, they will feel my presence in your gaze. When you are patient, they will understand my kindness. When you stand firm amid trials, they will see the reflection of the one in whom you trust. You will become a living letter, not written with ink, but with the living Spirit. That is the purpose of this journey, not for you to become one who hears well, but to become my voice among men. The one who hears my words and acts on them is like a man who builds his house upon the rock. When the wind blows, when the rain falls, when the storm comes, that house stands firm. The world will change, feelings will fade, people will falter, but my word remains forever. Build your life on that word, and you will never fear. Live within my voice, and you will never lose your way. Obey, even when you do not feel, and you will see, even when you no longer seek. When you abide in me, you no longer need to worry about hearing me. Your whole being will already move in rhythm with my breath. My dear one, when your soul begins to hear and respond to my voice, something deeper takes place within you. Faith becomes breath. It is no longer something you try to hold on to, but something that sustains you naturally. True faith is not an effort to believe, but a way of life for those who know they are surrounded by my faithfulness. As breath sustains the body, faith sustains the soul. When you cease to breathe, the body fades. When you cease to believe, the spirit withers. So I want you to learn to breathe by faith. Inhale my word, exhale your trust, until every moment becomes communion between us. Many see faith as the key that unlocks blessings, but truly faith is the doorway into my presence. When you anchor your faith in people, circumstances, or feelings, you grow weary. But when your faith rests in me, you enter rest. For real faith is not striving to obtain something, but resting in what I have already finished. You do not need to demand that I act. You only need to trust that I am acting even when your eyes do not yet see. Like a seed buried in darkness, unseen by the sun, yet stretching upward toward the light it believes exists, so your faith grows by reaching toward me even in the night. Understand this, my child, faith is not measured by the intensity of emotion, but by the depth of trust. There will be days when your heart overflows with zeal and confidence, and you think your faith is strong. Then there will be days of dryness when you feel nothing and assume you've lost faith. No, my dear one. Faith does not dwell in feelings. It lives in the choice to keep walking when nothing is felt. Feelings are waves. Faith is the ocean. The waves rise and fall, but the ocean remains. Likewise, faith is not governed by emotional tides, but rooted in the unchanging truth of my word. When you believe in silence, that is faith in its purest form, no longer dependent on sight, but resting entirely in my nature. Living faith is not merely believing that I can, it is trusting that I will in the right way and at the right time. You believe not because all is logical, but because you know I am faithful. Faith does not deny reality. It places reality under my authority. When you say, Lord, I believe, you are declaring your truth is higher than my circumstance. Remember Peter walking on the water. He did not walk by his strength, but by my word. As long as his eyes were on me, the water held him. When he looked at the storm, he began to sink. Faith does not make waves vanish. It makes you stand amid them. So do not ask me to remove the wind. Ask me to strengthen your faith. Some pray without believing. Others believe but do not pray. Yet true faith breathes with two lungs, prayer and action. Prayer without action is a half-breath. Action without prayer is a gasp. Both must move together. When you pray, you inhale grace. When you act, you exhale faith. That is why I said faith without works is dead. Living faith is always moving. It is not a statement, but a constant current between heaven and earth. Faith gives your prayers wings and your actions a soul. Faith is not only for great miracles, it is for the smallest details of daily life. You need faith to be patient, to forgive, to love the unlovable, to keep believing what I said when no one understands you. Many think faith is only for victory days, but truly faith is also for the days when surviving is victory. Your faith is not proven on the day you receive blessing, but on the day you still sing though you see nothing. When Job lost everything, he still said, "Though he slayed me, yet will I trust him." Job 1:3-1-5. That is the breath of living faith, faith that outlasts reason, rooted in the deep union between soul and Creator. Remember, this faith does not grow in comfort, but in resistance. As muscles need strain to gain strength, faith needs trials to endure. I allow contrary winds not to harm you, but to teach your faith to soar. When all doors close, you will learn that faith is the window to heaven. When all leave you, you will learn that faith is the friend who never departs. And when all crumbles, you will find that faith is the ground still standing beneath your feet. Faith does not stop tears, but turns them into seeds of joy. Faith does not prevent storms, but reveals rainbows beyond the rain. Faith is not blindness, it is sight that sees through darkness. It does not require you to understand everything, but invites you to trust the one who does. You do not need to know the next step, only the hand that holds yours. Abraham did not understand when he offered Isaac, yet he believed. Joseph did not understand in prison, yet he believed. Mary did not understand beneath the cross tears streaming, yet she believed. And through their faith generations were blessed. So too, my child, I do not ask you to understand me. I invite you to trust me, even when you do not. Knowledge leans on reason. Faith rests on grace. When you live by faith, everything changes, not because the world changes, but because your sight does. Faith turns not yet into in progress and impossible into already possible. Faith teaches you to call what is not as though it were. Romans 4:1-7. Faith does not wait for evidence, it creates evidence. You no longer ask, when will God move? You say he has already begun. Every time you give thanks before seeing results, you place your hand in heaven's current. You begin to partner with me to bring the unseen into the seen, and then I am no longer just your God, I become your breath. My child, living faith is not proven by gaining everything, but by trusting even when you lose everything. When you still give thanks through tears, when you still worship amid ruins, when you still smile in hopelessness, that is when your faith, shines brightest. That is the kind of faith that makes hell tremble, for the enemy can do nothing to a soul that still believes while bleeding. Such faith is not your strength. It is the strength of the Holy Spirit alive within you. When you are weak, He is strong. When you are silent, He speaks for you. When you fall, He lifts you up. And thus each breath you take becomes evidence that you still live, still believe, and are still loved. My dear one, when faith becomes breath, you no longer look for immediate signs to prove. My presence for your endurance in trial becomes the clearest proof of all. True faith needs no evidence for. My silence is never absence. You have learned to hear, to walk, to believe, but now I want you to learn the deepest lesson: to stand. Standing firm does not mean you are never shaken. It means you choose to believe while everything trembles. You do not stand because you are strong, but because you know where you are rooted. The winds may strike the tree, the waves may crash upon the shore, but roots anchored in me will never be torn from the ground. Mature faith does not fear adversity. It knows that fire comes not to destroy, but to refine. I allow the flames not to consume you, but to burn away what does not belong to you. When Daniel's 3 friends were thrown into the furnace, I did not extinguish the fire, I stepped into it with them. Likewise, I do not always rescue you from the storm, but I am in the storm with you. When you walk through fire, you will discover a miracle. The flames do not harm you, they burn away your chains. What once held you captive will be reduced to ashes, and you will emerge free, unsinged, carrying only the fragrance of victory. Your faith must be shaken, to be purified, for untested faith cannot be trusted. I do not send storms to frighten you, but to show you that nothing can sink one held in my hand. Remember Peter, he once sank in the sea, yet that very failure taught him more deeply about my power. If you had never been weak, you would never know the strength of grace. If you had never been lost, you would never know the sweetness of being found. If you had never lost, you would never recognize the worth of the eternal. So fear not the winds, my child. They come not to destroy you, but to carry your sail farther. Faith that matures no longer needs results to believe in purpose. It does not ask, why, but Lord, what are you teaching me through this? When you learn that you enter a depth only souls refined by fire can understand. Just as gold glows brighter in the furnace, so your faith will shine after every test. Do not measure your journey by today's feelings. The olive must be crushed to release oil. I am using pressure to draw from you the essence of trust. You are not breaking, you are being pressed, so that the oil of faith may burn brightly for generations to come. Faith has its own rhythm, sometimes thunderous like a storm, sometimes soft like a breeze. There are seasons your faith burns like fire, and others when it smolders faintly as embers. But I do not value the size of the flame, I cherish that it still burns. Jesus did not quench a smoldering wick. He nurtured it, breathed upon it, and helped it glow again. So even if your faith feels fragile today, I treasure it. I do not need your strength. I desire your honesty. Say to me, Lord, I believe. Help my unbelief. And I will answer, for that prayer is the truest breath of a soul fully aware of its dependence on me. Let faith become the lens through which you see the world. When you look with your eyes, you see chaos. Through faith, you see my order within it. When you reason, you see limits. Through faith, you see infinity. When you fear, you see threats. Through faith, you see opportunities for my glory. Let faith shape how you speak, respond, and love. For the one who truly believes does not need all the answers, they only need to know their God still reigns. Faith is not only your trust in me, it is also my trust in you. I long to share heaven's work with those who trust deeply. When I call you to intercede, you are partnering with me to transform the world. When I give you an assignment, I am saying I trust you to walk in my word. Remember, faith does not only receive, it gives. Those who truly believe plant belief in others. You do not merely live by faith, you become a breath of faith for those who have lost theirs. When you say, "I still believe someone else will find a reason to rise again." When you worship amid ashes, others will believe miracles still exist. That is when your faith expands beyond yourself and becomes a river of life for the world. You must also understand, faith does not always bring the outcome you expect, but it always brings transformation. Sometimes you ask for something good and do not receive it because I am giving you something better, not changing your situation but changing you within it. Sometimes you wait long for a miracle and see none, yet the miracle is already unfolding. Your heart is learning to love me more than what you asked for. Mature faith is not measured by what you obtain, but by how closely you cling to me through the process. When you still want me more than what I can give you, have reached the purest form of faith. Learn to give thanks not only for blessings but for trials, for it is trials that keep faith alive. Without the night, you would never see the stars. Without winter, you would never value spring. Living faith gives thanks even with empty hands, for it knows those hands are still held in mine. Pause and breathe this truth: I am yours and you are mine. That single sentence contains the soul of faith. When you live in that awareness, you no longer fear. Loss, for nothing can take me away from you. And as you walk through the years, you will realize that every test of faith has made it larger, deeper, and gentler. In youth, you believed me in miracles. In maturity, you believed me in silence. At first, you trusted me when life was good. Later, you trust me even when everything falls apart. This is the journey of true faith, from blazing fire to steady embers, from the shout, "Lord, I believe," to the whisper, "I know you are here." Then faith will no longer be what you do, it will be who you are. You will become faith itself, a living testimony that God remains faithful, sufficient, and present in every breath you take. My beloved child, when your faith has matured through fire, through storms, and through the long silent seasons without answers, then I no longer stand before you as a distant God. I am in you, and you are in me. Faith is no longer a bridge between two separate shores. It becomes a continuous current flowing between the soul and the spirit. You no longer need to strive to believe, for your very breath becomes a declaration: you are the source of my life. When I become the air you breathe, the light you see, and the rhythm of your heartbeat, that is true faith, the kind that is not apart from life, but life itself. When you still view faith as a tool to gain something, you are still living outside the circle of union. But when you understand that faith is not meant to exchange for blessings, but to merge with the one who gives them, your soul will find true rest. Those who have not yet entered this oneness will always pray to hear my voice. Those who have will simply rest in my stillness, where every breath becomes a conversation. Oneness does not mean you will never feel disappointment or fear. It means that, even within them, you know you are never separated. The spiritual lifeblood between you and me never stops flowing, renewing you each day like the Jordan River, ever moving though its source remains unseen. This is the stage of souls who have walked through darkness and learned that God's silence is the language of trust. There are times I do not respond, not because I forget, but because I desire your heart to learn how to beat in rhythm with mine. Unified faith no longer asks, "What are you doing?" but says, "You are here." It no longer seeks to understand the plan, for it has become part of the plan itself. When you reach this point, external turbulence will no longer govern you, for waves may disturb the surface but cannot touch the deep spring within. Then you will understand what I once declared. The water I give will become a spring of water within you, welling up to eternal life. My beloved, I did not call you to be religious, but to become a living temple. In that temple I do not dwell upon an altar of stone, but upon the altar of the heart. When faith has become union, you no longer worship only in moments of prayer. Every act becomes worship. When you care for someone, I am glorified. When you forgive, incense rises before me. When you remain still in the face of injustice and yet keep peace, I am praised. The world may not hear my name upon your lips, but it will see my reflection in the way you live. That is, faith transformed into presence. When I said the righteous shall live by faith, it spoke not only of salvation but of daily living. Faith does not only save you from sin but also from fear, from control, from the need to understand everything. When you are united with me, life feels lighter, not because its burdens vanish, but because you no longer carry them alone. You no longer ask me to change the world around you. You invite me to transform the world within you. And as that inner world changes, the outer one begins to shift in response. Unified faith is also the faith that rests in the midst of battle, not because the battle ceases, but because you know the one who fights for you has never lost. When you know that I live in you, you will no longer fear what comes, nor regret what goes. You will cease to ask why, and instead ask, how do you want me to love through this? Unified faith does not flee from trials, but walks through them in peace, knowing you are never alone. Like the three friends in the fiery furnace, you will realize that before men's eyes there are three, but before heaven's gaze there are four. I still walk in the fire with you. When faith has become union, you no longer need to seek my presence, for you yourself have become my dwelling place. When you speak, I speak with you. When you love, I love through you. When you intercede, I touch others through your words. The world will begin to sense me through you, without you having to utter my name. And that is when faith reaches perfection, not as the end of the journey, but as the beginning of eternal life here on earth. Do not let fear suffocate you, nor the judgments of others pollute the stream within. Each morning before the world touches your mind, let your first breath be a whisper of gratitude. You are in me. Each night before sleep closes your eyes, let your final breath be surrender. I am in you. This is the eternal rhythm of a reborn soul. Inhaling grace, exhaling trust, inhaling love, exhaling obedience. If you live this way, no day will be meaningless. No night will feel lost, for I am living in you through every beat, every breath. When you live in this unity, you will become a silent witness of heaven. You need not stand on a platform nor perform miracles to prove my power, for your very life will be a miracle. Those who see you will see the light, not a light you create, but the light that flows from the one who dwells within you. When you step into a room, the atmosphere shifts because peace walks with you. When you speak, others are healed, for my voice echoes through your lips. When you pray, the world moves, for your faith has merged with the Creator's. And then you will understand the true meaning of what I once said. It is no longer I who live, but Christ who lives in me. My beloved, I will now lead you deeper into the realm of transforming fire. It is a fire not meant to frighten you, but to make you radiant. It does not burn you. It burns away what does not belong to you. I never use fire to destroy you, but to free you from the invisible chains that cling to your soul. Just as gold must pass through the furnace to be purified, your soul must be refined to reflect my image more perfectly. Every flame I allow to touch you carries divine intent, not for judgment, but for restoration. Do not fear the fire. It is an essential part of the journey toward holiness. In Scripture, every time I drew near to my people, fire went before me. The flame in the bush revealed my presence to Moses without consuming him. The fire on Mount Sinai made the people tremble, yet set them apart. The tongues of fire on Pentecost filled the disciples with the Holy Spirit, transforming the timid into fearless witnesses. My fire is not merely power, it is love in its purest form. True love always burns away. Falsehood breaks chains and ignites what was buried. I know you have prayed to become like me, but to be like me, you must allow me to burn away the flesh within you, the pride, the fear, the need for control. Transformation never happens in comfort but in the furnace of surrender. The fire I send is never random, it is measured precisely for your soul. I will not allow it to burn beyond what you can bear, but neither will I let you remain forever in the shade of ease where growth never comes. For I love you too deeply to leave you unchanged. What feels like wholeness to you may in truth be a beautifully adorned chain. The pain of fire is but the sign that the old is being cut away so the truth can be born. Remember, the fire never attacks what is sacred within you. It seeks only to consume whatever blocks my light from shining through. It burns pride, comparison, bitterness, and even the justified reasons you cling to for not forgiving. Some fires come in the form of loss, some arrive through silence, others wear the face of those who have hurt you. Yet in every form I remain the Lord of the flame. I am the refiner. No spark touches you without first passing through my hands. Every trial, every wound, every rejection, I weigh them all on the scales of love. Look at the fire, not through the eyes of fear, but through the eyes of faith. What you call the end is often the beginning of purification. When everything you leaned on is burned away, you will realize that the only foundation that cannot burn is me. You will see that among the ashes of what was the seed of what is to come is quietly sprouting. You may lose a relationship but find yourself. You may lose stability but gain freedom. You may lose the voice of the world but hear the voice of heaven. The fire may appear cruel, but in truth it only reveals what is genuine. Once you have passed through it, you will no longer fear loss, because you will know that what is true can never be consumed. I want you to remember the fire on the altar in the holy temple, the flame I myself kindled and commanded to burn continually, never to go out. It was the symbol of my unceasing presence among my people. In the same way, the fire within your soul must be kept alive by the oil of prayer, by the breath of my word, and by faithfulness in the days when miracles seem absent. The world may mock your faith, but the fire in you will become the light that guides the wandering. When the world is plunged into darkness, only those who have passed through fire can carry true light. Do not be ashamed of the burn marks on your hands. They are the marks of one who has touched glory. I know there are seasons when the fire seems too long, too painful, too silent. You have asked me to stop, but I cannot, for I see what you do not yet see. Just as a potter cannot stop shaping a vessel before it is complete, neither can I stop before you are whole. There are things only fire can teach you: patience, humility, and compassion. When you have walked through suffering, you will learn to see others through the eyes of grace. When you yourself have been burned, you will know how to warm others without wounding them. When you have been rescued from ruin, you will become a refuge for trembling souls in the dark. Do not forget, the fire I use today will become the light you carry tomorrow. No trial is wasted. It is the song I compose in the language of rebirth. When you step out of the flames, you will not merely be different. You will carry the fire within you. You will tell others, I was in the furnace, but I did not die. I lost everything, but I found myself in Him. Only those who have passed through fire have the authority to speak of grace. And I have chosen you not because you are strong, but because you are willing. Willing to let me burn away the old, to ignite the new, and to keep my flame in you forever burning. The fire I place within you is not meant to light your path alone, but to illuminate the souls trembling in darkness. Do not keep the fire to yourself, for light only lives when it is shared. When you open your heart and share your story of loss, of restoration, of tears mingled with faith, you are spreading my flame further. Every word spoken in love becomes a small spark, and soon the darkness will have no place to hide. This is how I build my kingdom, not with thunder from heaven, but with small, steady flames burning in humble hearts. My beloved, when the fire has completed its work, what remains is not destruction, but new life. Beyond the storm, beneath the ashes, there is a quiet sprouting only I can see. You think you have lost everything, but in truth you have only lost what cannot accompany you into the next season. The fire has not stolen your future. It has cleared the path for it to unfold. Just as the soil cannot bear fruit until it has been turned over, your soul cannot blossom until it has been broken open by divine trembling. The ashes of yesterday are the fertile ground for tomorrow's harvest. I have seen your tears as you stood among what was left. You thought it was the end, but I say to you, no, my child, this is the beginning. When I restore something, I do not return it to what it was, I make it completely new. I do not glue the broken vessel back together, I reshape it with the hands of the Creator. When I formed Adam, I did not use gold or jewels, but dust. And when I remake you, I will use your ashes. For I am the one who brings wonders out of what seems worthless. The ashes you see are proof that my work has begun. Do not try to live as you once did. Let me make you new. The old season has passed, and if you keep looking back, you will miss what I am doing now. I do not want you merely to survive. I want you to live fully. As you passed through the fire, I stripped away what was false, so that only what is true could be born. You have learned to believe without seeing, to stand when no one understands, and now you will learn to live from within my presence. I will turn your pain into strength, your tears into streams of healing for others. And when people ask how you still stand, you will say, because he was with me in the ashes. Do not think of rebirth as a single moment. It is a sacred process. Just as dawn does not arrive in an instant, your restoration unfolds gradually. First comes the faint light at the horizon, then the spreading glow, then the rising Sunday. I work in silence, bit by bit, cell by cell, heartbeat by heartbeat. You may not notice it at first. Only when you look back will you see that in all the time you thought you were standing still, I was weaving the threads of your destiny in new colors. Not a single moment was wasted. Everything that once brought you pain has become a strand in the tapestry of glory I am creating. My child, rebirth is not merely regaining strength, it is transformation in essence. When Peter was restored after denying me 3 times, he was not only forgiven, he was transformed into a rock of faith. When Job was restored, he did not just regain double his possessions, he gained double revelation. When Joseph rose from prison, he was not merely freed, he was entrusted with authority to save nations. And when you are reborn, you too will not return to who you were. You will become who I destined you to be before the world began. Rebirth does not take you back to the starting point. It brings you into the purified version of yourself. You must understand that my restoration is not built upon merit but upon relationship. It is not because you have done well enough, but because you have surrendered deeply enough. I do not choose the perfect, I choose those who allow me to begin again. You have fallen, but the very place where you fell has become the ground where I lift you up. You have wept, but your tears have watered the seeds of hope. You have been weak, yet it is in that weakness that my strength is revealed. When you see this, you will no longer despise your wounds, for you will know that light shines through them like a broken window that allows the sun to pour in more perfectly. Look upon your life as an artist gazes at an unfinished painting. There are cuts, excess strokes, dark patches, but I am still painting. Each time you choose faith instead of bitterness, that is another brushstroke. Each time you choose love instead of revenge, that is another layer of color. Each time you choose to rise after falling, that is the light I add to your canvas. And when you finally see the whole picture, you will realize that the darkest areas were what made the bright ones shine. You are not a failed work. You are a masterpiece in progress under the hands of the great artist, my child. In the process of rebirth, I will realign your purpose. The fire does not only cleanse, it shapes direction. Old dreams may pause for a time, but only to make room for dreams born of heaven. Do not cling to the old plans. Ask me for the new ones. You may think you've wandered off course, but in truth, you are only being redirected. I have never lost you. I am simply leading you along a different path toward the same destination, the place where your heart and my will become one. Every dream and desire you thought was destroyed by fire, I will restore, not in their old form, but in greater glory. When you are reborn, you will bear a new mark, the mark of one who has walked through fire and come out grateful. Those who have been rescued will love more deeply, forgive more easily, and believe more fully. You will no longer rush to judge, for you will understand that every soul is undergoing its own refining. You will no longer fear loss, for you will know that nothing truly perishes in the hands of God. You will no longer seek miracles, for you yourself will have become the living proof that life can rise again from ashes. That is why I allow the fire to transform you from one who seeks life into one who carries life. From one who asked, "Why is this happening?" into one who proclaims, "I have been transformed." Then you will no longer fear the fire, for you will have become fire. The fire of the Spirit within you will shine in every place I send you. And when you speak, others will recognize the voice of the one who walked with you through the furnace. My beloved, I do not leave you standing among the ashes. I entrust you with a new mission. For fire is not meant to illuminate you alone. It is meant to make you a bearer of flame, one whom I will send to ignite the places I am about to touch. You have been refined, not to be exceptional, but to be useful in my hands. The fire within you is no longer the fire of pain, but of vision. It no longer burns you. It burns away the indifference of the world around you. I have chosen you out of the dust, not so you may live safely, but so you may awaken hearts that have fallen asleep. The world grows cold not because darkness has grown stronger, but because those who carry fire have stopped burning. I need souls unafraid of being misunderstood, unafraid of standing alone, souls willing to shine, even if they are the only light in the night. For even a single true flame can chase away the deepest darkness. You once asked, "Why have I suffered so much?" And today I answer, because I needed someone who could truly feel the pain of the hurting. The fire you endured was not in vain. It has created the very light this world longs for. The fire within you does not come from willpower, but from the breath of the Spirit. This flame is not sustained by emotion, but by connection with me. It burns brightly when you pray, flares higher when you love, and is protected when you walk in humility. Do not let the winds of bitterness or doubt extinguish it. Do not let the voices of others make you forget that this flame is not yours, it is mine. I have simply entrusted you to guard it, to tend it, and to carry it where I send you. It is the flame that will stay with you all your days, for it is the seal of your anointed calling. My child, when I send you forth, remember that a bearer of fire must walk quietly. True fire is not noisy. It does not seek attention, it simply burns. There are things you do that no one sees, but heaven sees. There are tears you shed in the night that seem meaningless, yet they fall as drops of oil that keep the lamp burning. Do not seek recognition, for true light needs no stage. It only needs darkness to reveal its glow. The world may not praise you, but in your quiet obedience I am performing miracles throughout your life. A bearer of fire cannot live by emotion. You must learn to move by the current of the Spirit. There will be days when you do not feel the flame, but that does not mean it is gone. Sometimes I hide the light so that you may learn that the fire is not sustained by sight, but by faith. Feed it with my word, with gratitude, and with moments of solitude in my presence. Guard it against the winds of doubt, against the busyness that kills prayer. For fire does not die from the lack of great flames. It dies when the small drops of oil are no longer added daily. The bearer of fire will not escape wounds. When you draw near to others, the light in you will expose the shadows in them. Not everyone welcomes fire, for it reveals what they wish to hide. But do not fear opposition. Darkness is only proof that the light is working. When you are misunderstood, remember Jesus. He too was misunderstood. When you are rejected, remember Elijah, who thought he was alone, yet I kept 7,000 who had not bowed to Baal. And when you are weary, remember my promise. Those who wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings like eagles. Isaiah 4:0-3:1. The flame within you will not die, for it is not kindled by your strength, but by my breath. I have not called you to do everything, I have called you to be something. Be the flame where I have placed you. Shine in your family, your workplace, your city. Do not wait for grand opportunities. Begin with small acts done with great love. Every kind word, every whispered prayer, every moment of patience in silence is a spark that spreads. One day you will look back and see that the world was changed not by thunder, but by small faithful fires that never went out. I do not need you to be great. I need you to be steadfast. For eternity is built upon the faithfulness of ordinary days. And when I send you, know this, I go with you. Do not fear the path ahead, for I am already there. Do not fear that the fire will fade, for I am the flame that never dies. Let your life become a living altar, a place where I can ignite my glory at any moment. When you speak, speak with fire. When you pray, pray with fire. When you love, love with fire. And when the world looks at you, they will not see perfection, but a soul ablaze for the glory of God. My child, one day when all of this work is finished, when your earthly journey comes to an end, I will welcome you home into the glory of the eternal flame. The fire that once burned you will become the light that surrounds you. I will wipe away your tears and say, you have finished the race. You have kept the faith. You have burned brightly for me. And in that moment you will understand that every flame that once caused you pain was in truth the fire of love. Nothing was wasted. Every trial, every drop of sweat, every whispered prayer, all of it contributed to the light I have shone through your life. Go then and burn. Do not fear when your light makes others see themselves clearly. Do not fear when darkness resists. Do not fear when you must stand alone, for I have said, you are the light of the world. A city set on a hill cannot be hidden. Matthew 5:1-4. Let that light shine, not for your name, but for mine. Let that fire burn not to scorch others, but to warm them. And remember, the fire you carry is not yours. It belongs to the one who lives within you. My beloved, a true bearer of fire is not only sent to illuminate the world, but also called to keep the flame when all others grow cold. For keeping fire is harder than kindling it. There will be days when no one supports you, no one understands you, no one even sees what you are doing, and it is in those days that your flame will be most deeply tested. The fire will whisper. Will you still burn when no one applauds? Will you still pray when no one listens? Will you still remain faithful when no one notices? My child, those are the moments when your fire becomes true devotion, when it no longer burns for recognition, but for love of the one who called you. Those who carry fire are not destined for an easy road, but for a path that leaves footprints of light. You may be isolated, but I assure you, you are never alone. You may be mocked, but I assure you, you are never abandoned. The fire within you will comfort some, but it will also unsettle others. For light always exposes what darkness hides. Yet do not let that silence you, my child. I did not send you to be admired. I sent you to awaken hearts asleep in shadows. Some hearts have grown so cold that only true fire can melt them, and you are that fire. Fire can only endure when it is fueled by humility. When you believe you are bright enough, your light begins to fade. When you make yourself the center, the flame changes color. But when you kneel, the fire rises again. When you give me the glory, the flame grows pure. My child, let every prayer be another drop of oil. Let every act of forgiveness be a breath that fans the flame. Let every moment of faith in hardship be a gust of wind that breathes life into it. Do not fear when the fire flickers. Simply kneel, and I will come again to breathe my life upon it. For I never let the faithful keep the fire alone. The fire within you is not only for this generation, it is a sacred inheritance I want you to leave behind. One day, when your journey is complete, the young will look into your eyes and be stirred by the light they see. They won't need to know your whole story. It will be enough to see the burn marks of faith still on your hands. They will say, if God could do that through them, He can do it through me too. And thus the fire will spread again. No pulpit is needed, no fame, only a soul that is burned fully, and generations will be illuminated. My child, your faithfulness today is the torch of tomorrow. Those who carried fire before you walked this same path. Remember Abraham, who left behind the spark of faith. Remember Moses, who carried fire from the burning bush to lead my people out of slavery. Remember Elijah, who called down fire from heaven to prove that the Lord is God. Remember the disciples who burned to the very end, spreading the fire of the gospel across the world. And now I have chosen you to continue that line of flame. Not because you are stronger, but because you are willing. I do not need many, only one who dares to say, "Here I am, Lord, send me." My child, the bearer of fire is not meant to remain still. You will find yourself called to cold places, to broken families, to weary communities, to closed hearts. I will send you there not to condemn them, but to warm them. The fire within you will not burn them. It will remind them what it feels like to be loved. Approach them as a candle in the night, not loud, not judgmental, but quietly radiant. And then you will see the miracle unfold. Frozen hearts will melt dry. Eyes will weep, and souls long dead will come alive again. This is the miracle of love's flame. To keep the fire until the end, you must learn to rest in me. A bearer of fire cannot burn forever by their own strength. You must learn the art of stillness, to pause along the way, to sit under my shadow, to be refilled. Even the brightest torch needs oil, and oil is found only in the secret place with me. When you stop to listen, I will pour new strength into you. When you are silent, I will rekindle the flame with the soft breath of grace. When you learn to rest, you will burn longer. For true fire never consumes the one it dwells in. It only consumes what resists grace. One day the world will be transformed, not by those who shout the loudest, but by those who burn brightest in quiet devotion. When every title fades, it is the light of faithful souls that will continue to shine. It is the light of those who never tire of loving, never cease believing, and never stop interceding. You will be among them, the one who carries the fire of love into forgotten corners, the one who warms where words cannot reach. I will use you as a small lamp in my hand, that through you I might step into the darkest rooms of humanity without frightening anyone, yet bringing light to all. When your journey nears its end, you will see that the fire within you has become the light surrounding you. You will no longer fear death, for you will know that you do not go out. You are simply transferred from a temporary lamp to the eternal flame. I will welcome you home to a place where there are no more tears, no more sorrow, only the endless radiance of glory. And then I will say to you, you have burned with all your heart for me. You have shown light for many. Now rest in the glory of the eternal light, and you will understand every loss, every flame, every night of darkness. It was all worth it, for it brought you home. Until that day, keep burning. Even when the world grows cold, keep burning. Even when the winds blow against you, keep burning. Even when no one understands, keep burning. Even when you must stand alone, keep burning. For one faithful flame can bring honor to heaven. I will be with you. I will pour the oil. I will strengthen you. I will never let you run dry. As long as you breathe, I will kindle the fire. Every time you whisper, yes, I will breathe new wind. And until the final trumpet sounds, I will keep the flame within you from ever dying out. My beloved, after the fire, I will not leave you scorched and dry, for I am the giver of living water, and now I desire to pour upon you the river of restoration. Imagine the earth burned and cracked, seemingly unable to bear life again, and then the first rain of the new season falls, and life begins to stir once more. So it is with your soul. It has endured the heat of refining, but now I will revive it with the waters of my Spirit. Open your heart, for I am doing a new thing. Let the pure streams flow through you, washing away the ashes of yesterday, soothing the wounds, and refreshing the places that once lay barren. My child, this water does not flow from the earth. It flows from my very throne. It is unlike any river you have known. It carries healing, renewal, and a life the world cannot give. It not only soothes, but restores everything it touches. If the fire has burned away what was excess in you, then this water will bring life to what is pure that remains. I do not only want you healed, I want you renewed. Not merely a surviving soul, but a soul made vibrant, radiant, and overflowing with the reflection of grace. The waters of restoration always come after a season of drought, for without thirst you would never understand the value of water. Without fire you would never recognize how precious water truly is. The longing within you is my invitation. When you sigh and whisper, "Lord, I am so tired," it is at that very moment that I begin to pour out the living water. For it does not come when you pray perfectly, it comes when you surrender completely. You do not need to earn it, you only need to come and drink. As Jesus said, "If anyone thirsts, let him come to me and drink." John 7:37. Your thirst is enough, for it is the signal that I am ready to fill you. Imagine your soul as a garden once burned barren. Now I am causing the first green shoots to rise. At first you may see only a few drops of rain, small signs of grace. But do not despise the small things. From a few drops I will form a stream. From the stream I will form a river. From the river I will form a sea. Just as Ezekiel saw in his vision, water flowed from the temple deeper and deeper, and wherever it went, it turned death into life. Ezekiel 47. You will experience the same. The water of my Spirit will flow into the deepest parts of your being, into the places you thought could never live again, and everything will come alive. My restoration is not mere replacement. It is new creation. I do not just return what you lost. I give what you've never known. I do not only restore joy, I give fullness of joy. I do not only heal the wound, I make that wound a fountain of compassion. Everything you once saw as loss, I turn into a seed of fruitfulness. Everything you once wept over, I turn into a testimony. You will realize that grace is not simply something you receive. It is a river flowing continually from my heart. And when it flows through you, you will not be able to keep it for yourself. The river of restoration does not only touch the outside, it flows within. It does not merely reach your circumstances. It reaches the very roots of your soul, where you once stored fear, shame, or lies. It will weave its way into every corner, every memory, every distorted belief, and wash it clean. You will feel lighter, not because everything around you has changed, but because everything within you has. I will soften your heart so that you may love again. I will wash your eyes with the clear waters of grace, so that you may see others without the lenses of the past. I will pour water into your ears, so that you may hear my voice again, gentle, yet strong, like a stream flowing through stone. The waters of restoration bring not only renewal, but peace. Not the peace that comes from the absence of storms, but the kind that flows steadily beneath all turbulence. When you live in this river, you will no longer wither from the world's dryness. When everything around you grows chaotic, the river within you will keep flowing, nourishing, cooling, and sustaining. While others thirst for safety, you will become a well of comfort, for I myself am flowing through you. You will not need to strain to appear strong, for true strength does not come from tension, but from the gentle current of grace. My beloved, do not be surprised that I have caused you to pause in this season, for restoration cannot happen in haste. Just as a river needs time to fill, so your soul needs time to absorb grace. Allow yourself to rest in my waters. Do not strive, simply remain. Picture yourself lying by the stream, listening to its quiet song, and knowing that even in your stillness, I am at work. I am healing what you do not yet know needs healing. I am gathering the fragments you thought were lost to dust. I am rewriting your story with the ink of grace and the tears I have already wiped away. After fire and water, you will find yourself transformed into an entirely new creation. No longer the one who bears wounds, but the one who carries healing. No longer the one searching for water, but the spring itself. The water I pour upon you is not only to satisfy you, it is to flow through you. When you speak, others will find comfort. When you pray, that same water will flow toward souls parched by sorrow. When you forgive, the water will cleanse the atmosphere around you. And the world thirsty for what is real will discover that the refreshment it seeks is not far away. It is flowing from those who have passed through fire and learned what it means to be restored. Receive this water. Do not resist it. Do not try to understand it. Let my water do what it was created to do, flow. When you allow me to flow through you, you will no longer feel dry, strained, or restless. You will live in the rhythm of heaven. Fire refines, water restores, wind renews, and earth bears fruit. This is the sacred cycle of a soul alive in me. Every season has its purpose. Every rainfall has its meaning. Breathe deeply and let the waters wash away the noise of the world. Let your heart grow still as a mirror lake reflecting the sky, for in that stillness you will see my face upon the surface of the waters. My beloved, when the river of restoration fills your heart, I do not want it to stop with you. Living water never stagnates. It always finds a way to flow, quenching the thirst of others. You have been healed not only to rest, but to become a source for those still dry and weary. The life I have placed in you cannot be contained. It must move, it must spread, transforming the barren ground around you into meadows and new vineyards. I once said, whoever believes in me, rivers of living water will flow from within them. John 7:3-8. That was not just a promise, it was a declaration of your new nature. When my spirit dwells in you, you become a heavenly spring amid the earth. People will come to you not because you are perfect, but because there is water in you. They will sense its freshness in your eyes, your words, your ways. You do not need to force impact. When you remain in my flow, the water will pour out naturally. To keep this water flowing, you must learn the art of movement. Do not cling. Grace fills only those who know how to give. When you hold on, it stops. When you release, it multiplies. A mountain stream remains pure. Because it moves when blocked, it becomes stagnant. Live like a river, not a pond. Let the love you have received become comfort for others. Let the forgiveness you've tasted become gentle hands lifting weary hearts. Every kind word you speak lets the water flow. Every time you choose love over resentment, you open another channel for my river to run free. Do not think water flows only through the strong. Water always chooses the lowest path. So remain humble, and you will see me use your weakness as my channel. I do not seek flawless vessels. I seek vessels willing to be cracked for. Through the cracks, light and water can pour out. When you pretend to have it all together, you dam the flow. But when you dare to admit your need for grace, the current grows stronger. The truer you are, the deeper the grace. The lower you bow, the greater the river. You will meet some who are so dry that a single gentle word will bring them to tears. They do not need instruction, they need tenderness. When you reach out to them, I will flow through you. Do not fear your insufficiency. Your emptiness is the opening through which I pour. When you speak, my water will speak with you. When you touch their hands, my water will touch their hearts. And one day you will look back and see that you have watered entire fields without even knowing it. As the river flows, it brings collective healing. Not only are you renewed, but the environment around you begins to change. Your family will feel peace because there is water in your home. Your workplace will grow lighter because you carry the breath of life. Your city will soften because you have prayed. This river makes no distinction between the worthy and the unworthy. It simply flows. And where it flows, life springs up. Love replaces suspicion. Hope replaces fear. Faith replaces bitterness. Never underestimate the power of the underground stream. The world's greatest restorations do not come through thunder, but through the quiet waters of those who pray. Every intercession you lift is a drop falling upon dry ground. Every act of patient love opens another passage for grace to move. One day all those drops will join together to form a great river of life, where multitudes are refreshed. And you will see it only took one faithful soul to let the water flow for an entire land to be renewed. My beloved, this river does not stop because of circumstances. It stops only when you forget the source. Do not try to keep it for yourself. Return to the source daily, for the source is me. Each morning come to me as a stream returns to the mountain. Let me pour new water, washing away the dust of yesterday. Do not fear feeling empty. Emptiness is simply my invitation to drink again. The more you drink, the more you will flow. And the more you flow, the fuller you become. For in my kingdom no one can keep what they refuse to give. My child, the river of restoration is not always gentle. Sometimes it must pass through rocky places, symbols of trials and friction. Yet it is those very rocks that make the water clearer and stronger. So when you are misunderstood, when you must forgive again, when you must love without response, know that the water within you is learning to flow deeper. Do not fear the curves. Each bend composes a new melody of grace. Do not fear the stones. Each one gives the river a song. I know there will come a time when you sigh, Lord, I have poured out too much. I have nothing left to give. But my child, I have never asked you to fill yourself. You are only the channel, I am the source. When you are weary, rest beside my stream. Let me refill what you have poured out. Let me remind you that you are not empty. You simply need to return to the river's beginning. There, I will wash you again, renew you again, and prepare you to flow once more. This is the rhythm of heaven, to be filled in order to pour out, to be healed in order to heal. Do not measure the worth of your life by what others see. Many cannot perceive the river you carry, for living water flows in silence. But I see. I see every drop you pour out when you choose love. I see every tear that falls in your quiet prayers. I see the moments when you wanted to stop, but chose to continue. And I promise you not a single drop is wasted. They are joining the great river of my grace. And one day you will see the sky itself reflected in the waters you have kept pure. I am raising up a generation of water bearers. They do not seek attention, they do not quarrel, but wherever they go, life awakens. And I am calling you to be part of them. Do not worry about being small. I formed the oceans from countless drops. Every drop matters. Every faithful soul is a channel. And when all these channels meet, a flood of blessings will cover the earth. I will do this through you, through them, through every heart, once burned by fire and now bathed in living water. My child, let this water rewrite the story of the world around you. Let love, kindness, and grace ripple from you like waves. One person will be touched, then two, then 10, then hundreds, and rivers will become seas. Never think your act is too small. One drop can awaken the rain. One prayer can change the season. One act of love can open a river. And then you will realize the greatest thing you ever did was not to preach or to serve, but to let me flow through you completely. When I look down, I will see my reflection in that river. For this has always been my desire, not only a healed world, but a river of hearts, where each soul becomes part of the flow, where life never runs dry, where heaven and earth meet in the waters of grace. My beloved, I do not want you to remain by the stream's edge, for what I am doing is not forming small scattered streams, but gathering them into one glorious ocean. Every healed soul, every heart made full, is a drop forming part of my sea. And when they merge, there will no longer be your water or another's water, only one ocean of grace covering the earth. This is the deepest work of restoration from individuality to unity. True restoration is not only renewal, but reconnection. When the water within you meets the water within another, all distance dissolves. No walls remain, only union in love. This is what I longed for from the dawn of creation, that they may be one just as you, Father, and I are one. John 1:7-1. My love was never designed to flow in isolation. It always seeks shared currents. The more you pour out, the more you will realize you belong to something vast, to an ocean without shores. My child, my ocean is not loud. It is not like the crashing waves of the world, but the quiet depth of souls who have understood grace. There, no one competes for space. Each one melts into another like drops merging into the sea. There is no me and them, only us in me. And in this ocean your soul dissolves not into nothingness, but into infinity. You will no longer see the boundary between your joy and another's joy, for when one is blessed, the whole ocean rejoices. Now you understand why I let you pass through fire, through water, through solitude and longing. Only souls that have been broken can merge with the ocean without fear of losing themselves. Those who have never been broken still cling tightly, afraid to let go. But you have learned that dissolving in me is not losing but returning. You now know that water cannot be contained in the vessel of self. And when you allow me to pour that vessel out, I can make you part of what is eternal. This is complete restoration, not only to be healed, but to belong. My child, when rivers meet, they create a collective current of blessing. Each one carries a unique essence from its journey, and together they form a richness beyond measure. Those who have suffered bring the sweetness of compassion. Those who were rejected bring the depth of forgiveness. Those who waited long bring the calm of faith. And when all these streams unite, I look down and see the ocean of love formed. That ocean reflects my light, extinguishes the fires of hatred, and invites the nations to draw near. This river will flow beyond the boundaries of religion, language, and nation, for grace knows no borders. One day you will see living water flowing from city to city, from generation to generation. Those once strangers will be bound together by an invisible river, my river. And on its banks the trees of life will grow, bearing fruit each month, and their leaves will be for the healing of the nations. Revelation 2:2. You will see it, for I am beginning its flow in your heart today. My beloved, I know you may ask, how can someone as small as I am make any difference to the ocean? My child, the ocean begins with a single drop of rain. You were never called to do everything. You were called to be faithful with the portion of water within you. Every word you speak, every act of love, every quiet prayer, all of them are drops that contribute to my vast sea. And when you think what you do is too small, remember this: no drop is meaningless when it comes from the true source. I can use a single drop to call forth a storm, and a single humble soul to move the world. My child, the glorious ocean is not only in the future, it is forming now. Each time you forgive, the water rises. Each time you give thanks, the current widens. Each time you bow to serve, the depth increases. One day, when you stand amid a restored world, you will see how each small act of faith created ripples that reached souls you never met. You will hear the great river singing, "Life has returned, life has triumphed." And in that moment you will understand I never stopped flowing. Keep your heart soft like water. Do not let bitterness make it murky. Do not let pride make it hard. Water flows only through low places, so keep yourself low before me. Let my word be your morning rain, prayer your midnight stream, and love the gentle drizzle upon each day you live. You will see that gentleness is not weakness, it is the strength of water which shapes stone without anger. It is the quiet power of kindness, endurance, and unwearied grace. When I see you walking through the world, I see my river in motion. The water flowing from you joins with the waters of others together, refreshing the soil of my creation. Places once barren will bloom again. Hearts once closed will open. Souls once hopeless will find life. And in that moment, heaven and earth will no longer stand apart. They will meet in the current of grace. That is ultimate restoration, when humanity's wounds are bathed in the love of God. Do not fear when the waters rise and carry you away. Let yourself be borne by my current. You will not be lost. You will be led. Let me choose the direction, for I know where you are needed most. At times I will take you to unfamiliar places, to souls who do not yet know me, to lands thirsty for truth. But do not be afraid, for I do not send you alone. My water goes with you, and I myself am the source. When you speak, the water will pour out. When you pray, it will rise. When you walk, it will pave the way. And when you are weary, that same water will lift you. The day will come when all rivers gather into my great sea. No separate streams will remain, only one transparent ocean. No drop will struggle to find its place, for every drop will have returned home. On that day I will stand in the midst of that sea and declare, "It is finished." You will see the faces of all those you have loved, prayed for, and walked with, each one singing together, praise to the one who turned death into life and tears into a sea of glory. My beloved, this is the destination of the river, the ocean of unity and glory. But until that day, I call you to keep flowing, keep loving, even when the world feels dry. Keep forgiving, even while tears still fall. Keep interceding, even when no results appear. For the river does not stop when you are tired, it stops when you stop believing. Believe that I am working even when you do not see. Believe that every drop has a purpose. Believe that the ocean has been shaped in my heart since the beginning. When I call your name from within that sea, you will hear my voice echoing through the clear water. You allowed me to flow through you. You let my grace pour out from your heart. Now rest in my ocean. And you will smile, not because you did much, but because you allowed me to do all things. You will finally know that true restoration is not only to be healed, but to dissolve into eternal love, where you and I are one. My child, after you have passed through refining fire and renewing water, I will breathe new life into you. This is no longer the season of trial or recovery. It is the season of glory, when everything I have done within you begins to blossom. This breath is not an ordinary wind. It is the breath of eternal life proceeding from my very mouth, the same breath that spoke at the dawn of creation. Let there be light, and light came forth. Today I speak again. Let there be life, and that life will flow out from you. This breath is the mark of completion. It is the same breath that awakened Adam from the dust, the same breath that caused dry bones in Ezekiel's valley to rise into a vast army. Ezekiel 3:7-10. Now that same breath is moving through you. It carries not just the power to live, but to live with purpose, to become my breath upon the earth. Each time you speak words of love, I breathe through you. Each time you pray, I exhale life into the world through your words. Each time you walk in faith, I spread new life through your very steps. When I breathe into you, I do more than restore you. I make you a vessel of life. You who once needed water now become the spring. You who once needed fire now become the light. And now you will become the wind that carries life to others. My breath not only revives you, it expands you. It draws you beyond fear, beyond limits, beyond I cannot, into the realm of, with God all things are possible. You will no longer live by effort, but by the rhythm of my breath within you. My breath does not come with noise. It comes like a gentle wind in the evening. It comes the moment you stop striving, stop speaking, stop trying to save yourself, and let me do my work. Many wait for me in the thunder, but you will meet me in the whisper. You will know that I am near, not when the world shakes, but when your heart grows still and feels the faint breeze move through your soul. In that quiet moment, you will know I am here, not only beside you, but within you. My beloved, my breath is not merely life, it is renewal. It carries the memory of heaven, the rhythm of creation, the sound of resurrection. When you let me breathe through you, every hardened part within you will soften and every shadow will be filled with light. You will begin to feel what I feel, to love, as I love, to see as I see. The things that once terrified you will lose their power, for when the wind of my spirit blows, every chain must break. No bondage can hold a soul filled with the breath of God. When I breathe into you, I also breathe out of you. I blow away what no longer belongs, the old habits, the cloudy memories, the limiting thoughts. I sweep them aside like wind scattering dry leaves. And as the space within you empties, I fill it with my presence. Do not fear feeling lighter. It is not loss, it is freedom. You are being expanded to hold more grace, more light, more power, more love. You will see yourself as a flute. Only when hollow can it sing the song of the Spirit. My child, my breath is not confined to sacred hours of prayer. It is in every moment you breathe, in every small act you do. When you cook, I breathe through your hands. When you comfort someone, I breathe through your voice. When you forgive, I send fresh wind through old relationships. When you smile at the weary, I release life through your eyes. That is the secret of glory. You do not have to make me present. I already am, and I am breathing through you. True glory is not the blinding light that startles men, but the gentle radiance that shines from a soul united with me. When you are in me and I am in you, you will begin to reflect what words cannot describe. You will not need to speak much, for my breath will speak through you. You will not need to persuade, for my presence in you will melt the ice of doubt. And those who come near you will sense a peace they cannot explain, because it is not your peace but mine flowing outward through you. I do not only renew you, I place upon you the authority of heaven. Just as Jesus, after his resurrection, said to his disciples, "Receive the Holy Spirit," and breathed on them, John 2:022. In that moment, they were transformed from the fearful into the fearless. Now I breathe that same breath into you. You will no longer tremble before the world, for you carry the breath of the one who made the world. You will no longer speak as a seeker, but as one sent. You will no longer pray out of fear, but from the authority of love. The breath of glory is not merely a gift, it is your new nature. From this moment you will no longer live divided between heaven and earth, but as one who brings heaven into the earth. Every breath you inhale is grace. Every breath you exhale is life for others. You will no longer see existence as a burden, but as a sacred rhythm of covenant. Inhale my presence, exhale my love, receive light, release healing. This circulation will never cease, for I never cease to breathe within you. Child, when you pray, you are inhaling my word. When you obey, you are exhaling life. When you pause to give thanks, you align yourself with the eternal breath, the rhythm that sustains the universe. Every planet, every star, every living thing moves within that rhythm, and I want you to know that you are not outside of it. You are part of the divine respiration of the cosmos, loved, sustained, and called to reflect my glory simply by existing. I will teach you not only to live by faith, but to live in glory. Faith carries you through the darkness, but glory makes you shine in the light. Faith steadies you in the fire, but glory makes you the light within it. Faith helps you endure, but glory transforms you. Glory is not a reward, it is my breath interwoven with yours. And when the two breaths become one, you will no longer live for me, you will live with me. For those who are led by the Spirit of God are the children of God. Romans 8:1-4. You are no longer an outsider searching for me. You are a child of the breath. From now on, walk not only with your steps, but with the rhythm of heaven's breathing. When you speak, let your words be carried by the wind of the Spirit. When you act, let every small deed be wrapped in the fragrance of glory. And when you pray, know that I am not far, I am in the very air you exhale. Your life and mine are now inseparable. This is not a call shouted from afar. It is a whisper woven into every breath. It does not thunder, it does not demand, but it is as clear as the wind passing through an open field. You will come to know that I need not shout for you to hear, only that you are still. For I do not speak to your ears, I speak to your breath. And when your spirit synchronizes with mine, you will begin to hear what heaven is saying. This call does not come to burden you, but to free you from all that is not of me. It draws you out of the frantic rhythm of the world, away from the noise of worry, away from the counterfeit winds of fame and success. It leads you into the land of stillness, where every breath carries meaning, where every moment becomes sacred. There you will learn that true calling is not doing great things, but doing small things with great love. You will cease chasing results and instead learn to move in step with the heartbeat of God. My beloved, the call within the breath does not push, it invites. It does not force you to act, but awakens within you the longing to live in the purpose for which you were created. It does not command you must, but whispers you may. Love, forgive, stay, believe, step forward, breathe with me. Let your very presence become the breath of healing for the world. This is the call of grace, not loud but steady, not burning but warm, not fleeting but unending. I did not give you my breath so that life would be easy, but so that life would be meaningful. For every soul that receives the breath of heaven also receives a holy commission. That mission does not always stand on a stage or in a crowd. Sometimes it is hidden in how you stay silent when wronged, in how you are gentle with the hardened, in how you remain faithful when unseen. The world cannot measure such a mission, but heaven can. I see it. Every small act of yours is one more breath I release into a world gasping for air. My child, I call you not because I need you, but because you were made to respond. In my breath you will find the very purpose you once searched for everywhere else. You thought your calling was a summit to reach, but it is truly a rhythm to live in. You were not designed to arrive, but to abide in the flow. Each morning as you wake, I breathe new air into your lungs and set before you quiet assignments, people to love wounds, to touch hearts, to remind that they still matter. That is your mission. Not the sound of thunder, but the sigh of mercy. Do not think that my breath is strongest only when you are strong. No, it blows fiercest when you are weak. When you fall, I lift you with my wind. Remember, I did not choose you because you were unshakable. I chose you to reveal the power of gentleness through you. The world teaches that to be heard you must shout, but in my kingdom those who whisper are heard most clearly. I do not need you to argue for me. I need you to exhale me. Let your life be the sermon. Let your forgiveness be the message. Let your love be the breath of the gospel. The call of my breath does not pull you away from the world, it sends you into it as a new wind. This world does not need more noise. It needs carriers of heaven's air. I will send you into places others fear to go, not to argue, but to be present. When you step into a room, I want the atmosphere to grow lighter, not because you speak much, but because you carry the breath of life. Let your stillness calm the chaos. Let your gentleness quiet the fire of anger. Let your gaze tell them, you are still loved. The mission of the breath cannot be fulfilled unless you slow down. Breath can only be felt in stillness. I do not want you to lose your soul while serving me. Many work for me, but forget me. Speak of me, but no longer hear me. But you, my child, choose to sit beside the stream, inhale deeply, and let my breath blend with yours. From there, everything you do will become effortless, for you will no longer do it alone. You will learn to love without exhaustion, to intercede without fear, to give without running dry, because every breath you use is one I have supplied. My beloved, learn to live between two breaths, between the inhale and the exhale, for in that sacred pause is my presence. When you inhale, you receive grace. When you exhale, you give grace. When you inhale, you take in life. When you exhale, you release life. This is heaven's rhythm, unceasing, eternal, and I invite you to step into it. Do not let your breath be consumed by complaint or worry. Let it be used for thanksgiving, prayer, and love. Then you will live in my cadence, and everything else will find its rightful place. The call in the breath is also an invitation to step beyond old boundaries. Many fear change because they think they will lose control. But how can you fear the wind when you are the wind? When you breathe in me, you do not lose direction, you gain freedom. The wind of the Spirit does not scatter you, it leads you. At times you will not understand why I change the course, but trust that the wind never blows without purpose. It blows to make a way. It blows to clear what is no longer needed. It blows to plant new seeds. And you, carrier of my breath, will learn the art of walking the unseen paths quietly but surely. My beloved, I know you have grown weary of trying to do my will. But now I do not want you merely to do my will, I want you to live in it. There is a difference. Those who try to do often strain. Those who live simply flow. When you live within my breath, you will do the right thing at the right time without effort. Everything will align naturally, like wind catching the sail at the perfect moment. This is the freedom of the children of God, not the freedom to do whatever they please, but the freedom to be bound by nothing. Then you will no longer feel torn between choices, for you will recognize the path where my breath dwells. You are not alone. Every one of my chosen breathes in the same rhythm. When you pray, remember that there are souls inhaling the same current of grace, even if they are thousands of miles away. When you grow weary, know that their wind can lift you. For in my body, breath does not belong to one alone. It circulates through every member, so that all may live. And when all breathe in me, my kingdom expands not by force but by life itself. The call within the breath will lead you where you never expected to become the breath of others. One day, when someone is drowning in despair, you will be the gentle wind that reminds them they are not forgotten. When someone feels dry and lifeless, you will be the current that revives them. When someone collapses, you will be the breath of resurrection in prayer. And when you return to me, you will hear me say, "You did not merely inhale my breath, you exhaled me." Then you will understand the purpose of life is not perfection but communion, a clear passage between heaven and earth, between me and humankind. When the night feels long, breathe. When the light is blinding, breathe. When you do not know how to pray, breathe, for that very breath is a prayer. When you rejoice, breathe out gratitude. When you weep, breathe in comfort. For I am the air around you, and you are my movement within it. The more you breathe in me, the more you dissolve into glory. And one day, when you take your final breath on this earth, you will inhale heaven for the first time, no longer divided, no longer weary. Only one endless breath between you and me, eternal, perfect, holy. My beloved, when all journeys are complete, when fire has refined, when water has restored, when my breath has filled you, the time will come for you to return to the source of light. This is not the end, it is fulfillment. For I did not create you to wander forever, but to come home into my embrace, the place where light began and where it never fades. You will no longer seek me through shadows, for you will see me face to face. This life is not a climb up a mountain, but the cycle of breath. You were born from my breath, live in my breath, and will return to my breath. When I spoke at the beginning, I breathed into his nostrils, and man became a living soul that was not only the story of creation, it was the map of existence. That breath never left you. It is the invisible thread connecting my heart to yours, heaven to earth, light to dust. And when you return, that thread will blaze like fire, guiding you into the very center of glory. My child, when your final earthly breath fades, it will not be a moment of loss, but of reunion. For I will be your next breath. You will no longer feel heavy, no longer confined by the body's weariness. You will feel light as wind, clear as light, infinite as love. You will understand that death never truly touches those who live in me, for their life has long been hidden within mine. What you call ending is merely the opening of a new door where you step from the shadow of time into the brilliance of eternity. That light will not blind you like the sun, it will enfold you like arms. It will not overwhelm you, it will awaken you. You will see that through every season of your life, that light was never absent. It was only veiled by the clouds of worry and the mist of fear. But now every cloud will dissolve, every mist will fall away, and you will behold me as I am. No longer through stories or symbols, but in direct glory. And that light will not come from outside you, but from within, from the place where my breath and yours unite, forming the pure flame of eternal love. In that light you will finally understand everything you once questioned. Every why will melt into because of love. Every loss will become a jewel of mercy. Every tear will shimmer as a reflection of glory. You will see that nothing was wasted, not one moment, not one wound, not one barren season. In my hands all was woven into the fabric of light. And when you look back, there will be no regret, only wonder that a small soul like yours was chosen to take part in the eternal masterpiece of the Creator. And when you enter that light, you will no longer ask, "Who am I?" for you will know. You will know that you were never merely one who was saved, but one who was united. You will see yourself in me, as a drop merges with the ocean, as breath dissolves into wind, as a ray of light joins the Sunday. You will not lose yourself, you will lose your limits. The true essence of you, the reflection of me within you, will be fully revealed, and then you will understand the meaning of my words. Let us make man in our image, after our likeness. Genesis 1:2-6. My beloved, glory is not a reward, it is home. You have always belonged to that light. You simply forgot for a while. Just as a raindrop thinks it falls to the ground, yet in truth, it is only returning to the sea. So your soul, after all its wandering seasons, is returning to the ocean of light where all beginnings and all endings meet. There the line between me and you disappears, and only we remain within the endless flow of love. No more night, no more tears, no more weight, only life itself singing the eternal song of souls that have come home. I know when you hear this, your heart still trembles, afraid of leaving, afraid of the unseen, afraid of losing what is familiar. But I tell you, do not fear the light, for light does not take away, it reveals. It does not erase you, it makes you more real. It does not cause you to vanish, it makes you whole. When you step into that light, nothing you have ever loved will be lost. It will be renewed, lifted, purified, and made eternal. Those you love will be there. The holy dreams you carried will be there. And above all, I will be there, for I am the very light you have sought all your life. The breath that returns to the source of light is not the last, it is the first of eternity. When you inhale for the first time in that realm, you will feel a life unlike any you've ever known, a life without fear, without limit, without pain. You will hear the sound of the universe praising, not with words, but with synchronized breath. All creation, angels, saints, and the redeemed will join together in one chorus. Holy, holy, holy is the Lord God Almighty, who was, and is to come. And in the midst of that song you will see me not distant, but within your very breath. My beloved, glory is not far away. It begins even now while you are still on earth, in every act of forgiveness, in every moment of love, in every silent obedience. Each one is a beam of heaven shining through the soil of earth. And now, As you step into fullness, you will see that heaven was never merely a place, but a state of oneness, and you have lived in it more than you realize. Every time you worshiped, you touched the border of light. Every time you wept in prayer, you passed through the veil of dust to breathe a breath of heaven. Now the veil is torn, and you are fully inside. No more barriers, only light and breath becoming one. I do not say farewell, for between you and me there is no separation. When you were on earth, I breathed through you. When you are in the light, you breathe within me. This bond will never break, for it is the essence of love itself. Love has no beginning and no end. It only expands like a boundless sea. And you, the once thirsty drop, have become part of the ocean of glory. Rest now, my child, for all things are complete. My beloved, I bless your final breath on earth, for it will be the bridge to your first breath in eternity. I bless your soul, for it has learned to love, to trust, to burn, to flow, and to breathe. I bless your journey, for not a single step was wasted. Every path, even the rough ones, led you closer to the light. And now, as you dissolve into glory, I speak this. Return, my breath. Return to the light from which you came. Return to me and live forever in me. And then heaven grows still. Every sound falls silent. Only one breath remains eternal. In that breath, you and I are one. No more darkness, no more boundaries, no more pain. Only light, love, and life. Everything begins with that breath, and everything ends within it, the breath of glory. Thank you for listening to this message today. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so we can continue receiving the living words together, strengthening our faith and walking daily in the boundless love of God. Amen.